comes right after the meal.
Okay.
Easy.
It's got to be 4 o'clock.
Maybe want to come.
Okay, so we're in Torah Nun Aleph. We've been doing Torah Nun Aleph for the past few weeks now. It's Hashem tonight. We'll close it out. So last week we ended off. There was a lot of different inyanim in this Sicha of Rabbi Nachman. At the end of Shavuos, he was giving, I guess, his Talmidim one last hargasha that they should take with them after Shavuos. And we were talking last week about Taivas. We were talking about Taivas last week, and we were learning how Rabbi Nachman said that there's no Taivas. His Lashon was, let me see what his Lashon was. An amazing Lashon. Be'emes ein nimsa sham Taiva klal. Be'emes ein nimsa sham Taiva klal. Be'emes, there's no Taivas. Even though Rabbi Nachman, well, I'm not on the same thing. No knowledge. We know many times Rabbi Nachman speaks about Taivas. We all know about Taivas. So if you remember last week, we tried to understand Rabbi Nachman was talking about anytime that we're trying to do the act of precious, we're trying to separate ourselves from something in this world. There's two approaches how to get there. At the end of the day, we want to end up with some separation from the world of Gashmas. You can beat yourself up over the head or beat the kid up or whoever it is. You can give a musr. Gehennem's going to burn you. You better do this strong. So you're bringing him through the approach of din, of gevura. Or you can go through the approach of chesed. And it's good for you to eat. Of course you have to eat. Eat as much as it's beneficial for you. Right? Anything more than that is not good. But it's a positive approach. So be'emes, he said that there's no taivas klal. Ki achila v'shtiyahu hechrech l'kim aguf. You need to eat and drink. It's not a taiva, that's life itself. You can't live if you don't eat or drink. Just eat as much as you need to live. I can't. So even though Rabbi Nachman many times talks about taivas and they're bad and what they could do to you, there are different approaches to take. Then we went on, and Rabbi Nachman said something very powerful, and he said, it's possible. He says, you can. Nachman said the seichel of the person is strong enough to fight against all taivas. Even though you're drawn towards this taiva, you've fallen to it many, many times. Says Rabbi Nachman, but the emes is, you have a koach called chachma that is stronger than any taiva, and you can overpower any taiva. Right? The world of, we'll get more into it a little bit tonight, we have three major functionality systems, if that's even a possible word. We have the thinking, we have the emotions, the feeling, a lot of the wants and the desires come in from there, and then there's the doing, the actions. The highest and most sublime is the mind. The mind is the most powerful. It's unlimited. It can go anywhere. We've discussed this. The heart, because of its emotions, it's the loudest. And although the mind is more powerful, even though the mind should be more powerful than the heart is louder. Right? You have this. You have the smartest guy in the room, but the loudest guy in the room wins the debate because he's just louder. This is what's happening all across the world right now. Right? The emes is the emes, but those who are louder, even though they make less sense, but l'maisa they're louder.
They care.
Whatever. Yeah, they're emotional. And yes, they care. It's sometimes it's just totally illogical, but whatever, they care for some reason. So the power of the mind, emes, should be, it is stronger be'etzem in its essence than the power of emotion, of desire. Problem is that the heart is very, very loud. Very, very loud. So your taiva, for whatever it may be, overpowers your mind. That's usually how you fall to taivas. But a person has to know that the truth is your seichel is more powerful. And it can overpower any taiva. We have to remember that. It's very, very important. We discussed at the end of last week, one of the ways to strengthen the mind in order to overpower that loud heart was, we said, learning Pnimiyas HaTorah. Because when you give your mind, right, as long as your mind is the regular thinking brain, which is connected to your regular wanting heart, the heart is going to just drag the mind with it. But if you're able to learn something that's called Seichel HaNevdal, It's that part of your mind, which Kodesh Baruch Hu. Right? Kodesh Baruch, remember we said Kodesh Baruch gives chachma to those who have chachma. The lashon is Mosif litin chachma lachakimin. Kodesh Baruch Hu gives a special chachma to those who have already chachma. Everybody has an innate wisdom. Everybody is born asher yatzer as adam b'chachma. Kodesh Baruch Hu created man, fashioned man with a chachma. We all have that, but that's a very physical chachma. But we have the ability. There's a latent koach in the wisdom in the koach of the machshava, the koach of our very ability to think deeply. That there is the hidden world, the world of Pnimius HaTorah, the world of that's Lamayla Min HaTeva, that's above the Gashmias realm. The shiur that Rebbe is giving right before this, Spheres and Partzufin, high level Chasidis, even some Kabbalah, but Moharan, even high level Machshava, right? Even learning from, let's say, Rav Dessler. If you ever learn Rav Dessler, which is Musar, but it's not really Musar, it's Machshava, it's very deep, it's very powerful. If you learn Svarim like that, you're giving yourself an advantage, because that type of seichel is l'mayla minha seichel that's connected to the heart. And if you continue to increase that, you'll be able to have more of a power over your heart. Again, there's many different malachim. Rabbi Nachman was specifically saying you're stronger. You are stronger. We're giving a little bit of an eitzah, maybe.
Is he talking about all taivas, or is it certain taivas?
He doesn't say. And Lamaisa, any taiva, if it's coming from, let's say, the heart, your mind is always, can be always more powerful than your heart. Right? So if whatever taiva is coming from this place, now you have to know, not every taiva is coming from this place. A taiva for kavod is not really coming from this place. It's really coming from this place. It gets a little bit confusing. Taiva is not like it's not a physical hana like other things. It's a hana sichli. When someone's mechabed me, I don't get any physical hana, but it's a deeper hana. It's a hana that I'm being honored. It's in the mind. That's already a little bit more difficult. But any taiva that's coming from the heart, the mind is more powerful.
He's not saying that though the sechel, increasing the sechel, is the only way to overcome this taiva. It's just one of the ways.
Yeah, no, he's saying here he's saying talking about this. You should just know that your mind is more powerful than the taivas. You should know that. People don't know that. Because people have always been dragged along by the taivas for so long, they become little pussycats. They think that they're weaker. After a few years of just getting drawn after your taivas, okay, that's it. That's who I am. What am I going to do?
And so somebody who has, let's say, a tavat mamon, to say, Rabbi Nachman also says to give tzedakah because that cools down the heart from that. Is that kind of like a cheaper way of getting over that taiva versus this, which is more like strengthening at the core?
I don't say cheaper.
Okay.
There's a different way.
No, like one's a trick, the other is
no. That's you have to also understand where that's coming from. What does that mean? That person's giving over the. What is that doing exactly? We have to learn that. You have to learn what Rabbi Nachman. You could just do what he says. When Rabbi Nachman says to do, just do. But if you want to learn the amkus, what exactly is that tzedakah doing? Is it because it's cooling down the heart? Is it coming because it's another emotion that's fighting, or is it really hitting the seichel? A lot of the eitzes of Rabbi Nachman we're doing stuff, but there's a certain segul that's connecting to the seichel, and by you doing something again and again and again and again, it reframes your mind a little bit. Okay? Everything is. Sometimes it's just easier to do what Rabbi Nachman says. Just clap and dance. Just clap and dance. That's what he says to do. He says if you want to be right, Torah Yud, it's a Purim Torah. If you want to rip up gezeras against Klal Yisrael, what's going on right now? There's still a gezerah upon us. Clap and dance. He goes to the Torah and explains how that works exactly. But if you just clap and dance because Rabbi Nachman said to, and that is a way to rip up gezeras, it works. B'simcha. Simcha can destroy a lot of gezeras, rows on this road. So now we're up to the next part. Fafilu. I don't know. You have where it is?
What page?
You have the page. I have a different version here. I'll show you in a second. If you give it to me, I'll tell you where it is. Let's see. You have it?
I think so.
Fafilu mishakvar nimshach achatayvus. What page is it on? Memo? Yeah, here it is. Right here. On the page right here. You see my finger? My thumb? Memo. So now he goes a little bit weiter. He says, What happens when you have a person who already has fallen to taivas? Right? He's fallen many times. And his seichel has become blemished. And he's in a state of bilbul, and he's become minimized. Right? A person who falls into taivas again and again and again and again and again, he starts to have a low self-confidence if he ever going to be able to overcome. It can cause different problems. Rabbi Nachman talks about different taivas. Let's say eating can cause fumes to go up into his head and actually make him cloudy, not be able to think in a deep way. So a person is over a taivas, and it could be we're not even talking about isurim, we're talking about even dvarim that are mutter. But over time, his seichel takes a hit. What do? Says Rabbi Nachman, Afal pikein b'ma'at seichel hanishar. If you have a little bit of seichel left, if you're still alive, you have some seichel. Yochel gam kein lamar. Even if you have 1% seichel left, you still could overcome the taivas. Don't think that what I told you before, that the mind is more powerful than the heart, is only if you've never fallen to taivas. But if you fall to taivas, well then, sorry, buddy, you have no chance. No. You can fall to taivas 100 times. If you still have a little bit of seichel left, which everybody does have, unless you're totally miyayish, that's when you have no seichel anymore, when you're totally miyayish. But unless you're not miyayish, you're not hopeless, you still have some seichel, you can still overcome. Because again, be'etzim, the koach of the mind, is infinitely greater in its potential than the heart. Because it's coming from a different world. I don't want to get into the amkus, but the mind comes from the olam habriya. The heart comes from the olam hayitzira, and the hands come from the olam hasiyah. These are three different worlds. The highest rung in the olam hayitzira doesn't touch the lowest rung in the olam habriya, or it just barely touches it. So if you have a little bit of seichel left in the olam habriya, then you're still in potential. You have much more capabilities than even if your world of Yetzirah, of the heart, of the taivas, is filled with taivas, and it seems like you can't overcome. No, but you can, he says Rabbi Nachman. Because be'etzem, if you have a seichel, you still can overcome. Don't be miyayish. Don't be miyayish. And a person has to remember, it's very, very important. When a person is working on taivas, let's say he picks any taiva. What's the goal of working on a taiva? Is the goal to fully overcome? Of course there's such a goal. But you know what one of the major goals in working on taivas? Always be a fighter. Be a fighter. Don't give up. You might fight your entire life and never fully overcome. That could happen. That doesn't mean you're a loser. Because only Kodesh Baruch Hu knows, did he give you the strength to fully overcome? Or he only gave you the strength to be a fighter? Because what does it mean to be an Eved Hashem? To be perfect, or to be in the game? And Eved Hashem means Kodesh Baruch Hu wants me to do certain things, and I will do it, and I will do it, and I will do it, and I will do it. Whether I overcome it or not, it's not even up to me. It's up to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Right? Who, at the end of the day, decides, snap, you have no more taiva for this thing? You? You can't decide. If you would decide that, then I would do it right now. Clearly, you can't decide that. You could fight a taiva 5 times, and a Kodesh Baruch Hu says, okay, no more. You can fight a taiva 1,000 times, and finally he says, no more. You can fight a taiva 10,000 times, and you still have it. Because at the end of the day, who decides? Not me, not the Yitzhar, only Kodesh Baruch Hu. So the goal is to be a fighter, to stay in the game. The Svarim tell us, Nachman talks all the time, that when a person falls into a taiva, what does the Yitzhar want? He doesn't care about that one fall. He wants you to lose hope. That's the ikar. Not that one, he doesn't care about that one little battle. He wants the war. And the war is, are you miyayish? Do you give up hope? Or do you not give up hope? That's the main battle. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter whether you lose a few times. Okay, get right back up. Being in the fight means you're winning. We have to reframe. The very fact that you're fighting, that you want not to do that, you're already a winner. Because a loser means you don't want to not. You've fallen. Shavi Yipol Tzaddik V'Kam. The second he wants to get back up, he wants to get back up. He's already a tzaddik. Shavi Yipol Tzaddik V'Kam. He's called a tzaddik because he doesn't want to give up. Simple as that. So you have to change that, because sometimes a person can get burnt out. I'm trying this and again and again and again. I'm trying this. I can't stop and I can't stop and I can't stop. Eventually, a person, because he thinks he has to win, he has to get 100 on the test. and he's never getting the 100, and eventually you get burnt out. Like, okay, I can't do this anymore. But who said you have to get 100? The very fact that you took the test, that itself, right? You don't have a kid like that, right? What happens if you have a kid he's not the 100 student? You have a kid who's, school's not for every single kid. We know that already. But Lamaisa, they have to go. What are you going to do? They can't just run on a farm. Run on farms. That'd be nice, but we don't have farms out in Woodmere and Rockaway, So the very fact that your kid studied a little bit and even took the test, for some kids, true or not true? You do mechazik them to their madrega, to where they're holding. The kid doesn't even know. The kid's depressed. Ach, I'm such a loser. But the parent really knows that the kid can't he's not going to get 100. There's not even a havamina of 100. The very fact that he comes and he takes a test and he tries, that's a win for the kid, no? So how do we know by us? See, by us, we have this like hidden ego. It's a gaiva that we always think that we can overcome. We have to break down the type. We have to totally win. Kodesh Baruch says, but let me just tell you something, sir. You're never going to fully remove this type. But my nachas ruach is that you're fighting. That's my nachas ruach. So don't worry, just keep going. Even if you fall, that's part of the program. I expect you to fall 6,721 times. Guy's like, wow, I'm doing pretty well. I only fell like 500 times. Right? Versus the guy who thought he should never fall, and now that he fell 500 times, he's like, come out in Aish. So who decides? The answer is you trust in the Kodesh Baruch and you just get up and try again. If you're not dead, keep trying.
That's opposite of what they teach, though. Like even like the kids, like they teach them you succeed, get 100, get this job, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they teach that, right?
That's why it's in us too.
Yeah, so. I know. I know. Believe me, I know. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. They teach depression in schools. They teach you how to become depressed quick. Some kids make it. That's the problem, is that because then the schools are built for those few kids. But all these systems.
Farms.
What?
We need more farms, like I said.
We need more farms. We definitely need more farms. There's no question. You know how? Oh, it's not the time. Let's go by there. There's. We all know this. Okay. Anyway. So Rabbi Nachman says, if you have a little bit of seichel left, don't be miyash. Keep going, because your seichel be'emes is stronger. And that nukud of seichel could be just get up, just get back up and try again. It's okay. From that place, again and again. It's not about fully winning. Right? We have to change that. We usually beat ourselves up. That's usually the problem. No one tells us that we did anything wrong. No one even knows what's going on in our head. No one knows when we fail in our tests or whatever we think. Who knows? Me and Kodesh Baruch Hu. And usually it's just you thinking about your own self and you just beat yourself up. That's not proper. No one said to do that. That's us, sir. You beat up on a kid who he only has the capability of getting 65, and he didn't get 100. So you're gonna beat up on the kid? It's not much us, sir. You have a teacher who like beat. Imagine a teacher who's not so nice to a kid who only gets a 65, but his capability was only 65. Yeah, why don't you get 100? You'd say that teachers are Russia. So why do we do that to ourselves? All the time. If you would stop yourself and know what you're thinking about yourself throughout the day, it wouldn't be so happy. It wouldn't be so good. We're not so nice to ourselves. We just don't really think about it because we just keep going. I'll go back to work. Try to stop one time. Next time you're feeling down about anything, and for no real reason, no one did anything to you, just you're feeling down. Think about it. Where'd that come from? Why am I feeling down right now? Try to trace it back where it's coming from. It's coming from somewhere. It doesn't just happen. Try to catch that thought where it comes from. That you got triggered by something that reminded you of something that was so quick you don't even know what happened, but you're just feeling down. Because the ice cream truck reminded you of one time you failed the test, and the test had a lot of ice cream questions on it. And the teacher then beat you up because you failed the test and you remember the ice cream. So you see the ice cream truck, it'll quickly remind you that, and you feel down. It's that fast. And if anybody who's ever worked it back knows, it's mamish that fast. So people could walk around all day in a sad, gloomy state because something that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago that they never just, worked through. Nachman says, get up. If you're a little seichel, you could do it. Even one nakuda of seichel, you could stand up to all the taivas in the world. It's possible. And I'll just read you a line that in this edition they bring down from, where is this? In Rabbi Nachman somewhere else. They're in Torah. Oh, and it's brought in Rabbi Nassim. In Hilchos Birchas Areach, Halacha Daled, he says, I'll just read you one line. The Iker Kol HaChatam VaTaivas. Listen to this. The main reason why a person sins and is involved in taivas, Sha'adam Nilkad Behem Chasan, that he's caught by these things, meaning he's not able to get out. A person makes a mistake, fine. Imagine you made a mistake, you get back up, you go, fine. But why are people caught in nilkad? They're caught in a trap. They can't get out of it. Why? Hirak machmas shtus. It's a foolishness. She'eno yodeya mikocho. He doesn't believe in his strength. He doesn't realize that he has strength to get out. I don't know if this is true. I once heard. You tell me if this is true or not. When they want to train elephants for the circus, I think I saw there was a sefer called Cheshbon Nefesh. You ever heard the sefer? I think it says it in there. Tell me if this is true or not. They want to train. How do you train these big, huge elephants to do tricks? Elephant could just like swat any human away, right? So this is what they say. I don't know. When the elephant's young and not so strong, they put a leash around whatever its neck, and they stake it into the ground. And at that point, the elephant taka can't get out. So eventually, they say elephants have small brains, right? Eventually, the elephant thinks that as long as the leash is on his neck, then he's powerless. So even when he becomes massive, he stays in that state of cotness and that small-mindedness that if any human being's holding on to the leash, it could be wrong. That's what I heard once. That he feels like, oh, I can't move. Even though in a second, the elephant could just he could just take down Barlow and Bailey, right? He's like, see ya. But he doesn't. Why not? Because he thinks he's smaller. So he doesn't believe in himself. Simple as that. That's the shtus. The shtus that a person has so much koach, but we don't believe in ourselves. And it's so subtle. It's so subtle. You have to literally be like the little engine that could. But you have to say it. It's not a joke. You have to say it. Because when you leave it in the mind, in this swirling place of like a lot of stuff going on over here, it's mixing with too much stuff. So you have to say it. I think I can. I know I can. I can do this. Kodesh Baruch Hu give me the strength to say it, and then you could do it. Again, what are you doing? Just trying again. At the very least, trying again. And if you push forward, great. And if you totally eradicate, it's amazing. But the very fact that you can say, I can't, I'm going to try again, that shows you have strength, right? That shows you have strength. You're getting up, you're trying again, you're fighting again. So Rabbi Nachman says, he says, and any time, wherever a person is, he can always rely on the Kodesh Baruch Hu. He can always be somech. Even if you fall down, and you fall down, and you fall down, and you're mamish in the pit, and you finally wake up, you could always be somech on the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Even in the lowest pits, even in the Gehenna of your life, you can get close to Kodesh Baruch Hu and serve Him be'emes. Aye, that's famous story of Aye, of Rabbi Nachman, of course. Wherever you are, Kodesh Baruch Hu is also there. That's the emes. Where is He not? Where's the Kodesh Baruch Hu not? He's in heavens. He's on the earth. He's in the lowest pits. He's in the taiva. So a person, any time, don't think there's no place for yish, because if a person understands and has emunah, Kodesh Baruch Hu is mamish everywhere. And he says, listen to the line. He says, "Yechol neskar v'elav yizbarach la'avdu yizbarach be'emes." That's a strong line. You might think, okay, Rabbi Nachman, I get it. If I'm in a pit, you could daven, you could beg, a Kodesh Baruch Hu help me get out. But it's a little bit di'evet, it's a little secondary. Nachman says, no, that's be'emes. If that's where you are right now, you wake up, and you're wherever you are, in this low place. That's your level right now. So what? Cut ties with all the past, and now start. Wherever you are, you could take a step up. Right? Wherever you're holding is what we were talking about before. It doesn't matter. You're a kid who could only get a 65. You're a kid who can get 100. Whatever level you are on the ladder. I'm on level 50. I'm on level 2. I'm on the negative 10. Take one step up is equal by all three people. Taking one step up is equal by all three to get to level 51, level 3, and level negative 9. Just take one step up. That's be'emes. That's where you are. Okay? Whatever happened in the past happened. Okay, so we'll deal with that at some point. But take a step up. But so often a person's like, I'm on level negative 10. How can I ever do this? I'm so low now. I was on level 50 and now I'm on level negative 10. I was on level 50, I'm on level 10. I can't do this again. You ever have that? It's the video game syndrome. I used to play back in the day. You play for like 20 hours straight. You'd like get it to like these crazy boards, and then you lose one. You have to go all the way back to the beginning. No, I'm not doing game over. I'm not. Next. Because it's hard. You gain to a certain madrega. You fall all the way back. That's not easy. The person has to cut ties with what was in the past, what will be in the future. Just here I am right now. One step up. Tiny. One step. That's the emes. It's not a shak. It's mamish the emes. Every time we're talking about chazakas, because we don't realize, we think we don't need these with these eitzes. We mamish need these eitzes. Again, we don't realize how subtle our mind can make us feel down about something. I started asking people about how they feel about their davening. The first thing they'd say, it could be better. Everything will be down. How's you learn? You rarely have a guy who says, it's going great, it's amazing, I'm positive. It's like almost rare. No? I think positivity is rare. Maybe by business they're positive. Maybe. Somehow in the Gashmias world there's an ability to be positive, but in the spiritual world we're never good enough. Where that came from, it doesn't matter. We need to change it. You can't live with, my Rebbe hurt my feelings in 3rd grade. That could be true. I'm asking. But now you're old enough to say, okay, but that's ridiculous. Let's move on. At a certain point, you got to move on from that. No? Am I being too harsh? I don't think so. I'm not talking about a person. I'm not talking about a person who got it. What?
You're telling us about, you're the Rebbe that you're saying that these Rebbeim shouldn't be.
No, I'm not saying what Rebbeim shouldn't be. I didn't talk about any of the Rebbeim. I'm saying about a person now who is still feeling down about something that happened 20 years ago because somebody did something to him. I'm saying this person has to say, okay, Ad Khan, you can't be a victim your whole life. That's what I'm saying. The person, you're a mature person. You're 20, 30, 40 years old. Time to move on. I can't because, I was beat up when I was, I'm not only physically beat up. People who got seriously damaged, I'm not talking about them either. I'm talking about the regular Joe who's just a droopy Jew. We're back to the droopy Jews. And he'll say it's because of this, it's because of that. Fine. Okay. We got that. We got you. 20 years. You didn't do anything because of what happened. Fine. But let's start now. Why can't we start now? Why can't we start fresh? Erase everything. Start fresh. Let's go olive base. No, I can't. Olive base. I can't. Why not? No, because I should be learning Gemara and I can't do olive base now. But buddy, you're up to the olive base, so just do the olive. I can't. It's hard. It's hard to start from the low, but what's your option? Your option is to stay in a state of perpetual nothingness. Okay. Each person has a bechir. Each person has a choice. Each person is on their own. Nobody knows anybody else's situation. I don't know anybody's situation. I don't know anybody. And everybody could have good excuses, potentially. For sure. But that's between him and the Kodesh Baruch Hu. I'm not pining on anybody. I don't know anybody's situation. But we need a chizik sometimes. We need to know that there is a possibility to get out. That's what Rabbi Nachman saying. You don't have to be a small-minded elephant. You're a big elephant. Play big. Be big. Strong, positive, confident. Whoever you are. But there's a lot of that ego. Yeah, I know, but I can't start there. That's a low level. I'm already 30, 40 years old. I can't be doing that. Okay. That's ego talking. And ego makes us small also. It keeps us as a victim. It likes to make us small. It likes to control us. I can't. Why not? I don't know. I just can't. What kind of excuse is that? Sorry.
Is Rabbi Nachman saying that we're at the... Huh?
And he's talking to me. Oh. He's giving me Musar, yeah.
Is Rabbi Nachman saying that when you're at the lowest level, that's when you can serve Hashem?
You can also, even in the Shol Tachlis, in the lowest level, you can serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu, be close to him.
Oh, so it's also at the level above that and the level above
100%.
Okay.
This is the biggest chiddush. In the lowest place, where you think Kodesh Baruch Hu is not there, Oh, he's there. And you could be somech on him. You could really, you're close to him. Somech means, the word samach means close to. It also means you can lean on him. Right? You can lean on the one you're close to.
Is that the Nekuda Acha Shel Seichel that it's talking about? That a Kodesh Baruch Hu can even be with you then?
I think
or
that's...
is it Seichel Mamish?
I think that it's both, but I think that's one of the kudas that he means. The very fact that you can know that a Kodesh Baruch Hu is even in the lowest place, that's the Nekuda. Even that Seichel can bring you up. That's called the Nekuda Tova. See, the Nekuda Tova, Rabbi Nachman, everybody knows the Nekuda Tova. It means different things. But the very fact that you know that a Kodesh Baruch Hu could even be in the Shol Tachlis, that's a Nekuda Tova that can mamish give you life. If you believe it. Some people can't believe it. How could it be? They don't say those words, but it's in their head. It can't be. It can't be. It cannot be that a Kodesh Baruch Hu is in this place. It can't be. He must hate me. Because Kodesh Baruch Hu had big plans for me. He gave me so many opportunities. I could have been so big, and I squandered every single one, and I did the things I shouldn't have done. There's no way he would give me. He's here with me, giving me a chance. Because a person is comparing Kodesh Baruch Hu to a human being, and a human being often does lose hope in people. Even though Baruch Hashem, we've had many, many heroes that never gave up hope on kids or adults, and they brought them back up. But not everybody experienced such a thing. And it's hard for them to come to terms to believe that a Kodesh Baruch Hu can do that. See, we're all sitting over here. I don't think we're going to hit the Shol Tachlis, Baruch Hashem. The Shol Tachlis is usually, you can, hopefully not, but it's usually for people who didn't learn this. That's what's difficult. So for us who are here, who probably won't hit the Shol Tachlis, be there for another person who might. Just be there for them. Because if Kodesh Baruch Hu is there with them, it's the Kol Sheken, we should be there for them. Right? Whatever we can, never to give up hope on another person. We have to know, right, not everything that Rabbi Nachman says is for me personally right now, but it might be to teach me how to help another Jew. It's very, very important. Like there he says, I told you we're going to finish tonight. I'm sticking to my guns here, even though we usually don't, but
11 o'clock tonight?
No, stop it.
I just tell my wife. I need.
Anav Amar. Here we go. Oshet Tzrichen. Says Rabbi Nachman. Oshet Tzrichen lezer Rachmanas Meshem Yisbarach. Either person needs. It's a funny line what he's about to say here. Either you need Rachmanas, you need mercy from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, or you gias ve'avodas, or you need hard work and avoda. Oshet Tzrichen Shneim. Or you need both. Sheyelo yigias gedolos avodas Hashem ve'gam Rachmanas Mito Yisbarach. Person, you need to work on yourself, to really break out of low levels. Sometimes you need a Kodesh Baruch Hu just to give you a Rahmana. Sometimes you have to work very hard. Sometimes, again, you need both. Until you get to a very high madrega, which is something that he was really talking about at the beginning, 51a, right? That a person can get to the place where his mind is quiet and he doesn't have any desires of this world. And everything's equal to him. Right? Going back to the Gashmias world. Right? We discussed all the way in the beginning about how the people run after the Gashmias, how people make such a big deal about it. It's really be'emes nothing. Where is all that money that we've been running after all these years? Right? That was already all the way at the beginning. And then he went on a whole ashtalshus to Tmimus and Pshitis, and always his chadshis, never become old, and then he went to the Taivas. And now he's back. It looks like, if you read this Sichos straight, it looks like it's like 5-6 different topics, but it's really one in Rabbi Nachman's teaching. And we're trying to get to the point where Hakol Shav Etzlo, everything's equal by this person in the world of Gashmias. That he rids himself of ritzonos, of desires for this world. Of course he eats and drinks and has to live normally, but like a Pashta Yid. Tmimus and Pshitis. And as someone who's a Talmud and a Pashit also is good for Shabbos food. Someone who's Talmud and Pashit also goes on a vacation, but he doesn't have to go on the best. He doesn't have to have like all the trimmings. Right? It takes a chachma to be a Pashit, right? Not the chacham versus the tam. But it takes a certain wisdom, a true godly wisdom, to be a Pashidiyah, and to be simple, and to not have these tremendous ritzonos. Right? What do we say? Gashmis is like playing golf. Remember that? You need to eat, you need to drink, you need to get it in, but you want the least amount of strokes as possible. Right? You need to eat? Okay, so eat. But fill yourself up in the least amount of food possible. You need to go and do this in life, do that. Great. But do it in the least amount possible. You don't want to, shoot a 10 on a, when it's a par 3. Quadruple bogey. Like, that's bad. So, in the world of Gashmis, we want to play it like it's golf. Remember that. Remember you heard that here first, okay? It's a good line. I think it's a good line.
Very good line.
I'm pushing. Thank you. Okay, can we make merch? Can we make money out of this? Gashmis is like golf. All right. So how do we do this? So you see, it brings a pasuk. This is the pasuk that everybody slips on when they're saying when they're making a siyum. Anybody's ever made a siyum? It's this pasuk that if you're trying to say it really fast, it's hard to say. So those last 3 words, everybody slips up on it. Anyway, when you're going, it will guide you, and when you lie down, it will guard you, and when you wake up, it will
tongue tie you.
You know what?
Tongue tie you.
Tongue tie you? Is that what it says? Oh, tongue tie you.
Ah.
It'll speak with you. Hainu, shakol shave. All of life could be equal, right? The level of hishtavas, like the Baal Shem spoke about. Hishtavas. Everything is equanimity. How? A person could live a life where there is no difference between olam hazeh, the kever, when a person's buried, he passes away, and olam haba. How's that possible? How could you live in 3 different worlds and it be equal? Olam hazeh, olam haba, and dead. How's that possible? So he explains, if you learn Torah and it guides you when you're living a life of Torah, it doesn't just mean learning. Of course you have to learn. It means a life of Torah. You're an eved to the Torah in a good way. Right? Who's a ben chorin? Who's a Torah? Person's learning Torah. He's osik. He's a life of Torah. And when you lie down and a person passes away, it'll be there for you. When a person passes away, the Torah and the Kodesh Baruch Hu, which is not bound to the physical world, like the Torah, even though we learn halacha, that's bound to the physical world, but the segula, the pnimius of Torah, the spirituality, that's not bound by this physical world, right? That's the neshama talk. And the same neshama that was alive in this world is the same neshama that's in the kever, as the same neshama that's going to be in Olam Haba. So if you act in a way in this world, and you live with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and live with the Torah, there's no difference between Olam Hazeh, the kever, and Olam Haba. Right? And even when a person wakes up in Olam Haba, since you have no physical taivas and ritzonos, you turn your whole world into taiva to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu, taiva to learn Torah and to live a life of Torah. Even though, of course, you eat and drink. Of course, you eat and drink, but that's not my taiva. I eat and drink because I have to live, and I enjoy the food. That's fine. But I'm not drawn after it. Right? We want to cut ties with being drawn after that stuff. We want to be drawn after Torah and Kodesh Baruch Hu. And if you do that, nimsa shakol shav etzlo. If you live a life of Torah and a Kodesh Baruch Hu, then everything is equal. Bein b'olam hazeh, bein bekever, bein b'olam haba. It's all the same. Bekulam hu davik rak b'Hashem yisbarach b'Torah. If you're alive in this world, if you're in the kever and you're in the world of neshamas, or you're in olam haba, what that will be, you could be davik to a Kodesh Baruch Hu and the Torah the same exact way. Same exact way. Again, the pnimis, not the physical doing of the mitzvahs. When you're in the kever, you can't do physical mitzvahs, but the devek is to a Kodesh Baruch Hu from the neshama level. It's all the same. But a person who's bound, he's makusher to this world, the Gashmis world. There's a big difference between olam hazeh. He has lots of stuff and money and food and taivas and Gashmias. Uben kever. And when he's in the grave, and he's in a small little spot. Of course, there's a big difference if you're connected to the Gashmis world. But someone who cleanses his mind, he doesn't have like settlements. Thank you. He doesn't have the bottom of the barrel in his mind. He's not connected. Bottom of the barrel means the Gashmis of this world. The hana of Gashmis in the world doesn't even come close to the hana of ruchnis in this world. If you've tasted the hana of ruchnis in the world, a geschmack davening, a good kumzitz, a piece of Torah, even a tehillim on a Shabbos morning with a cup of coffee. No, It's the best.
Shalom Thursday night.
Shalom Thursday night, maybe, or Shalom Shabbos day. This spiritual. That's spiritual. It's not physical. Don't get tricked by the cholent. Anybody who could purify his mind and be connected to Torah, to Tefillah, to mitzvahs in a deep way, to Kodesh Baruch Hu, then everything is shava. He's davik to Kodesh Baruch Hu in this world, he's davik to Kodesh Baruch Hu in the kever, and he's davik to Kodesh Baruch Hu in the whole world.
Amen.
Told you we finished.
But,